Hey guys, Dave with First Place Auto Parts, and man, I love my Chevrolet shop truck. This thing is long on fun, but really short on creature comfort. It is a Custom Deluxe, which means it has a rubber mat inside and very, very little sound deadening. So it's kind of like riding around in a tin can after a long day. So we're going to change that. One of the first things we're going to do is we're going to take the rubber mat out and take the bench sheet out, install some heat and soundproofing by Flatline Barriers, which will help reduce the amount of heat that's coming from the catalytic converter, which is right underneath the cab floor, but also reduce some of the sound and vibrations from the road. After that, we're going to leave the rubber mat out, but install a brand new carpet from ACC Carpets in Firethorn Red, which will match the interior color of the dash and also the door panels, and then top it off with some brand new ACC floor mats. Guarantee that it's going to upgrade the interior not only in the feel, but also how it looks. So let's go ahead and get started. So today, guys, we're going to go ahead and remove the seats in preparation for the installation of the Flatline Barrier sound deadener product. This truck right now has a rubber mat that does not go all the way up underneath the seat. So in addition to removing the seats, we're going to remove the sill plates and all of the seat belt attaching hardware and bolts so that we can slide the carpet up underneath it. One thing to know is we're going to use power tools today. You can go ahead and use a ratchet. The bolts that attach to the seat hardware and the seat belt attaching hardware can be fairly long. Some manufacturers actually use thread Loctite on those products, so we're going to use air tools. If you have air tools, it'll make the job a little bit easier. If not, a standard ratchet will work just fine as well. So let's go ahead and get started getting the seat out, and then from there we'll move the sill plates, the seat belt stuff, and then we'll go about cleaning the floor. With the bench sheet, I slide it forward and back as far as it will go on its tracks to access the bolts, and then use an air impact gun with the proper size socket to carefully remove the 4 attaching bolts. Alright guys, now we're ready to remove the seat. Most benches and most buckets will have 4 retaining bolts, so make sure you get them all out before you try to remove the seat. We removed the bolts that hold the seat to the floorboard. We removed the seat belt attaching hardware. We're going to leave these seat belts in the seat because they have little pockets. It'll be easier to take the seat out with the belts as opposed to trying to pull the belts through them. But just be careful. Know that the seats themselves have some very sharp feet on them. The metal will probably be rusty, so either wrap something around the feet and tape them off to protect your door panels and your paint, or just be careful. But be aware that there's some sharp metal underneath these seats that you don't want to tear anything up as you're removing it. Due to its size and tight conditions, a second set of hands was helpful to safely remove the bench seat from the truck. Here we take the seat out of the passenger side as the steering wheel on the driver's side makes for a tight fit. And this is what 30 plus years of a truck underneath the truck seat looks like. Plenty of grime. We're going to want to clean all this up, prep it with Prep-Sol so that the sound deadener will apply and stay applied to the bottom of the floor pan before we put the carpet over it. The thing we do is remove the sill plates. In this case, they're plastic. In other cars, they're going to be aluminum. Just be aware that these sill plate screws may be rusty or corroded. It might give you a little bit of a fight, but these have to come out, so we'll take them out from both sides. It's not uncommon for sill plate screws to have a lot of debris packed around them. Do yourself a favor before removing them. A, make sure you have the correct size Phillips screwdriver so you don't strip the heads out. And B, go ahead and remove all the debris with a small screwdriver, then vacuum it out. This project is a great time to consider replacing your sill plates, especially if they're aluminum. In this case, in the truck, they're plastic, so they're in good shape, but just know that the sill plate screws can present a little bit of a problem if they haven't been removed very often, and you lived in an environment that had a lot of road salt. So the next step is to go ahead and remove the rubber mat or your old carpet. There's probably some jute underneath this that may or may not be attached to this rubber mat. We'll take that out next, but the next step is to remove the rubber mat. And finally, we'll remove the jute that was underneath the mat. This may be held in place with some plastic snaps. In this case, it is not, but just know that it may be stuck to the floor in a couple places. Someone may have glued it down in the past. This one's going to come out fairly easy. Looks like the other side might be a little wet, which means we might have a little bit of a window leak, but we'll go ahead and take the jute out as well. Who says restoring a car or truck doesn't pay? Here I've got 39 cents that I found underneath the seat and a gold glue-on fingernail. Man, I can't wait to give this one to my wife for an anniversary present. So as clean as our 87 Chevrolet shop truck is on the outside, it's still a 34 or 5-year-old truck, which means it's had a lot of owners and it's had a lot of stuff put inside. I don't know what's on the floor of this. It looks like a mixture of oil and dirt, but I'm going to go ahead and mix up a bucket of hot soapy water and use a scrub brush to get the tough stuff off that won't come up with the vacuum cleaner. After that, I'm going to hit the floor pan with some acetone and also plenty of rags to make sure that when I put the Flatline Barrier down that it has good adhesion. Also, there's a couple of screws in the middle of the floorboard or the transmission tunnel. Again, where someone's probably tried to screw down a center console of some sort. This truck did not come originally with it, but I'll go ahead and seal those up with silicone before I put the Flatline down. They're not big holes, there's not a lot of them, there's no rust, so I just want to seal those holes up to keep moisture out and also exhaust out. So overall, the floor pan's in good shape from a structural standpoint, but it's a mess. It's going to require some elbow grease. Using the stiff bristle brush, I loosen up the dirt, oil, and debris from the floorboard and do the final wipe down using disposable rags. After doing all your cleanup with the hot soapy water and a brush and some acetone, this is what your floorboard should look like. Look, you're not going to get it perfect, but what you're wanting to do is get the big, loose, chunky stuff off and any oily residue, or this floor pan is ready for installation of Flatline Barrier products that'll stick a long time, and the interior, I guarantee you, is going to smell better for this cleanup. Okay guys, the floor pan's all cleaned up. We've gotten all the loose chunky stuff off, all the oily residues removed. So the next step is to go ahead and dry fit all of the individual pieces that come with the Flatline Barrier kit into the cab of the truck. Now, it looks a little bit like a Rubik's Cube when you pull these pieces out of the bag, but the reality is Flatline Barriers has included a very good instruction sheet that shows you how and where each one of these pieces go, and they labeled the front and back and driver's side and passenger side. So I recommend laying these things out on the ground, laying them flat so that you can see where they're supposed to go in the big picture, and then go ahead and start installing them loosely. Don't pull the backing off yet, but install them loosely into the cab just to make sure that all the holes, bolt holes line up where they've cut out. Then if you have any things that you have added, maybe accessories or things of that nature, if you need to make any modifications to this product, it's very easy to cut with scissors and or an X-Acto knife. So I'm going to go ahead and test fit this, put the pieces in on the driver's side, and we'll just replicate that for the passenger side. It should be pretty straightforward, but let's go ahead and put these pieces in on the driver's side and see what it looks like. Okay, I have all the pieces laid out on my floorboard, and now I'm ready to install the Flatline product. To install, simply peel the backing paper from the foam, position your product, and press firmly. The installation process couldn't be easier and requires no special tools. In fact, I had this product installed on my floor in under 8 minutes. The installed Flatline Barrier product fits and looks like something GM should have installed back when this truck was new. The product easily conforms to all the floorboard curves, is low profile, and will not add bulk beneath installed carpeting. And best of all, Flatline Barrier products are offered in bulk or pre-cut kits to ease installation. Man, that was easy. From basically dry fitting the product to making sure all the holes lined up to any trimming that I needed to do to installing the product permanently on the floor, I had about 20 minutes into this installation. Some of the things that I really enjoyed about the product was the easy peel and stick. On the big sheets, if you had to reposition, you can still lift it up and move it, but this stuff, once attached to something, is going to stay put. The other thing is how easy it was to trim. This kit came pre-cut for this cab. There were some places where I had to modify it a little bit because of some things that I had installed that weren't originally on the factory floor. So simple pair of scissors, just trim it away, made it super easy. This is a great product. I can't wait to install the carpet and listen to the new sound of silence that this truck has inside. Man, I can already tell you that this Flatline Barrier product is going to make a huge difference in the interior comfort level of our C10 truck. In the next video, we'll go ahead and install the carpeting and then take it for a drive and see what the overall effect is. But just by tapping on the floorboard with this product installed, there is no longer that tin can sound. So I have complete confidence in this product, and it's super easy to install. To find the complete line of Flatline Barrier products, go to First Place Auto Parts by simply typing in fpautoparts.com into your search engine. There you will literally find thousands of restoration and performance parts for your car or truck. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube, where we will continually be adding new how to install videos, but also product review videos that may be a benefit to you when it comes time to either buying parts for your car or putting them on. If you found this video helpful, please consider hitting the subscribe button. You will not miss any of our future videos where we either review the hottest new products or show you how to put them on. Until next time, keep the hammer down and keep it between the guardrails.